Hi. Let's move this a little closer to you.
So I just really wanted to look at you and be seen. And I've been thinking about what I want. And I thought it was freedom for a long time. And I've recently realized that what I want is to live, to really live
Yes.
this life.
Yes. I support you in that fully.
Thank you,
Beyond
because that's what I
imagination.
was going to ask for. So I'm done. I just wanted a word of encouragement and support and just
You have the
recognition.
capacity for that. The
Yes.
fact that you know that there's a possibility that it's arisen in you, it's not just, oh, movie stars live like that or enlightened beings live like that. But you know, this is life, this is my life. How can it be lived in the fullest, deepest, truest way?
Yes,
That's a very mature question.
yes. And there's some part of me that doesn't want it. I mean, not that I'm suicidal, or, I mean, I
Yeah.
have been in my life, but, that doesn't want to live. But now it's more like, oh, I can't live. That's too much. It's too much to ask.
So what do you mean when you say live? Are we talking about living this big life or just breathing and the body staying alive?
Depends.
So there's a spectrum
Yeah,
of it.
yeah. Right now, it tends to show up as, oh, it's just too much to ask. Really
So that's a
live.
narrative,
Exactly.
isn't it?
Yes.
And that's a kind of despondent narrative, which means there's some deep emotion
Yeah.
either generated by that narrative or reinforced by that narrative. And you have the capacity, just as you overheard the narrative that said, I want a big, full life, and you could feel the energy that comes with that narrative. And I support that. Yes, live a true life, a big life. Then there's this other narrative that's really kind of the polar opposite of that.
Yes.
It's too much. I can't deal with it. And that comes from what? Are you aware of? The emotion or
Yeah, there's some sense of it's too scary to want things. And it's not really things. It's more like experience. It's too scary to want vitality.
what's the worst that can happen in desiring vitality, in wanting vitality?
Disappointment.
So let disappointment come here now.
Right.
Yes, you see. That's not a trick.
No.
That's actually welcoming whatever you're afraid of.
Right.
It's really what Barb was talking about, too. It's, okay, this is my boogeyman, or this is, and disappointment maybe is a mild description
Failure.
of it.
Failure. Yeah.
Failure, despair. Yeah, if you invite it all, maybe there's a narrative that generates it, but it's an emotional experience. And we normally either indulge that or cover that and deny it because it is so intense. Emotions can be quite intense. But to not indulge it and to not deny it, to not repress it and not express it, to actually open your attention, your capacity for living fully to this that has appeared in this life.
Yes. And I think what I'm looking for from you is to tell me that's safe, because I trust you.
Well, it is absolutely safe, but not in the way you think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Nothing is safe in the
Yeah.
way you think. Life is not safe.
Right.
I gave that example about the car stopped on the freeway to show we were doing it right. We were driving safely, but the one person in front of us decided to stop on the freeway. So, as we know, living here, a fire could come. Fires kill people, destroy
and that's
things.
safe too.
Yeah, yes. So you're not safe You will die,
Yeah.
and you don't know when. It'll be an easy death, or it'll be a difficult death, be a sudden death, or a long death, somewhere in between. But to recognize that this form will die, that me will die, that's scary when it's really recognized. I mean, that's what I was talking about, Ramana, to recognize that. Then the invitation and what Ramana showed us throughout time is you can actually lay down or sit there and open to that reality of the fear of death, because the fear of death is part of what it means to be an alive creature. I mean, you look at all kinds of creatures in all kinds of kingdoms, and they're all afraid of death. And they will, flies, spiders, birds, animals, humans, gods, demons. Nobody wants to die, except those people who hope death will be a release from the misery of life. Either way, the misery is here to be met. So if you open to this reality of the worst, however that may be framed, what are your experience? It's so quick.
It's okay.
It's okay. That's maturing. That's what's required for maturity. We can't know that. You can learn that. You could write that in your journal. If I open to it, it's okay. And you can even memorize that, but it's useless. It's the direct experience. It's here. It doesn't feel good. I don't want it here. I hate it. When will it go away? Okay, it's here. Oh, I open to it. Maybe it's a superficial level, maybe it's the most profound level. Your capacity to open is endless. Endless. What's that?
Relief.
Yes, it's a great relief.
And a sense of knowing that you're right.
You know that from your own experience.
You're telling me the truth.
Yeah, you don't have to figure out, is she right? You knew it immediately because you have experienced that before. This is not an experience that's happening for the first time here. So this is encouragement for you to be willing to experience whatever is appearing to you without the old narrative, because that's where our conditioning is. It's some kind of link up with the narrative and the emotional states. The narrative, you have the capacity just to stop it for a moment as an experiment, not because it's a bad narrative or you should stop, but you just put it aside and open to what the narrative is either narrating or trying to keep you away from or indulging. Yeah.
So that's it.
Yes, without a narrative, it's very simple, isn't it?
Yes. That's why I'm here, because you're simple.
Yes, I'm simple. You see it. That's great. Thank you. I take that.
I've done a lot of not simple. So.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
We will try everything but the simple, because it's unbelievable. It's so simple. It's so immediate. It couldn't be. It's too simple. And we are complicated creatures, and our survival has depended on a lot of complication and a lot of complicated learning. So in a moment of this willingness for utter simplicity, there can be an experience that your survival is at risk. That's the beauty of a retreat, of not being on the freeway, of being here, of being able to take a moment, of giving yourself this moment. You know, it's intelligent that this apparatus operates as it does. There are enormous threats to survival, but because we have become so adept at surviving, we've taken over the planet. And now our very survival is threatened by our very drive for survival.
Yes.
Yeah, what a conundrum. And so we meet that normally with figuring out what to do. It's a heresy to say, just take a moment and be still. Discover where this life is that you want, that is full and truly lived.
Thank you.
I'm so happy to meet you. What's your name?
Dina.
Dana from Austin.
Yes.
Oh, great to see you.
Thank you. And this is my brother with me.
Oh, great. There were some great times in Austin. You weren't a part of the Austin meetings, were you?
No.
That was
No,
you
I
were
wasn't.
just a
I wasn't time yet, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. But here you are. Ah,
Thank you so much.
so happy. It's like when the fruit is ready, it drops.
Yeah.
That was it. I did nothing, right? Everybody saw that.
You gave me just what I asked for.
I had
Thank
my
you.
usual conversation. And you just, yeah,
Yeah.
so happy.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks.
And it's catchable. You know, you hear yourself laughing or you, or what? It's contagious. We are so limbically connected that we don't even have to understand what's happening to catch it. And normally, we catch each other's suffering, and that gets compounded. But to be able to catch this opening, deepening,